Hello everyone, how are y'all doing? We're back again with more Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. Just one second. Sorry, just making sure the same thing up. So I'm going to, for a little bit just right now, kind of just sit here and see how the stream works. It's raining very heavily outside. Not like super heavily. But like pretty hard. Apparently we're getting like a really big ice storm and snow warning. Like we're supposed to get like almost a full inch of like ice or something, followed by like several like inches, like almost a foot of snow or something. Apparently, I don't know. It keeps changing every like minute how much we're getting, but like it's very wet and very rainy out there. And generally, when it gets wet and rainy, my stream will go to shit very quickly. So I want to make sure we're not, going to go to shit. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on that. So last time, we finished off Sora's story, and now we started off the Riku playthrough. And I still really like the Riku playthrough. It's very good. Yo. It also takes out like most of the. I don't think that takes out, but there are like very few cutscenes in here that take place during the actual worlds themselves. But it's generally you walk in, you fight boss, and then you leave. So you'd think, Twilight Town or Traverse Town would be like really easy. It'd be one of the first places you'd want to go because of it's like the first world in Kingdom Hearts 1. But as you can see, Riku has a deck of like 5 cards. Like, what's our enemy card in this area? The Shadow, which is nice, which helps out. But literally, he has 5 cards, not even enough for 2 full combos. Hi, Dark Form. Bye, Dark Form. Thanks for showing up right at the end there. So yeah, if you come here like after not leveling up that much during Bastion, you might be in some trouble. Again, most enemies in here do have lower cost cards themselves. 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 is our deck. So, like, not very big. So that's why I like to generally go to, like, somewhere else other than Twilight Town. Because the enemies just get very little experience around here regardless. I think even less than Hollow Bastions. Weirdly enough. One second. Sorry about that. So yeah, I start with somewhere else, and then I either save, like, Traverse Town for last, so I can just literally breeze through it, or I do it, like, second. I keep claiming how good dart points are, so I'm going to see if I can max that out. ASAP. I'm pretty sure the maximum amount of dart points you can have is like 30, I think. So a lot of Riku's levels will go to his health, which I think he has the same maximum health as Sora, which is around 500, I think, which is about 2 full health bars. But while Sora will only learn a smaller number of slights, Riku will, I think, continuously get attack power as long as he like levels up. Like he's able to get a new point of attack power every like 3 levels, I believe. Oops, sorry, I forgot what button was what there, so I accidentally fast forwarded a bit. Oops. But yeah, it's like almost kind of like comically stupid. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's kind of like really comical how like small some of Riku's decks are. Like you think like, oh, they could make the deck for me, so it's going to be really big. No, there are very few decks. Because like when you're in Dark form, you can slike 3 9s to make Dark Aura, which is an extraordinarily powerful move that you would definitely know if you were ever hit by Dark Aura fully playing through Sora's playthrough. But the problem is, because it is that powerful, it's only ever used in, I think, the only worlds that can use it are, can Mickey actually kill enemies? No, he cannot. He just leaves them with 1 health. But I think it's like the last 4 or 5 worlds that have the ability. And even then, I say last 4 or 5, but that's like, you know, because we have 2 sets of, worlds we can, like, go through. Are we still streaming good? Is everything still fine? Yes? Okay, good. So yeah, like per usual, I just kind of want to blow through Traverse Town, so I'm using cards that do not pose a lot of challenge. In fact, if I don't reach an enemy by the time I get to the door, I'm just gonna go through. Because Riku, he doesn't start off strong, not like physically, I mean like, you know, the playthrough. Like, if you were kind of like really fed up, like, oh man, you know, I played through this game as Sora, but I played through the game and I'm not really sure if I still liked it. And then you start off playing as Riku, and you're like, okay, but what's the special gimmick? Because you really don't get to make much use of Dark form until later, when fights start lasting that long. And when you start, you know, fighting bosses more and more often. Because we even fought, what is it, that Parasite Cage enemy, right? Did we? Yeah, we did. And I don't think we used Dark Form once on it. Because it just went down really quickly, because it had like half a health bar. Or something stupid like that. And honestly, right now, the only point to use a Mickey is to heal. It's like, yeah, no, Riku is kind of like Zora, where, like, he gets better as you go along, but it's not because you're leveling up and making yourself better. It's because just the fights actually last longer for you to actually, I don't want to say appreciate, but make use of, like, Riku's different talents and shit. Because, yeah, we also have shit like, again, we get an enemy card based on the world we're in for free in our deck. And then we get to keep whatever enemy cards we get from bosses. I'm not sure if Riku actually gets enemy cards that drop. You know what I mean? I really don't think that's a thing. Weirdly. Like, I thought for sure it was, but now that I'm thinking about it, that'd be, like, really powerful. Because, like, imagine getting a shadow. Like, even though it's the base enemy, it's still a really good enemy card. it increases all of the all your charge values by 1, essentially, for 2 reloads. And it's not just attack cards, it's like magic cards and shit as well, I believe. But yeah, no, it's a pretty good card to start off with. And then they start you off with just straight up fucking Dragon Maleficent. Whose entire downside is negated due to the fact that Riku doesn't have a reload timer. You just press the button, like you just have to wait for your cards to flip back through. That's really strong. I still kind of stand by what I said last time, though, in saying that the charging reload mechanic, I think, should have been a thing for Riku instead of Sora. Because Sora can have a very, very large deck if he wanted to. Which means, essentially, that, you know, as the cards start flipping around, you have to just wait for them consistently. Like, that's what's made some of the later boss fights in Sora's playthrough more manageable, I guess. Because, like, bosses would often leave some cards up before they reload, so you have to wait for them to charge their reloads. And then once they actually fully reloaded their deck, they had, like, flip through all of their cards, which bosses had very, you know, sizable decks, so that's when you had the opportunity to use things like Kiraja, Cloud, Omnislash, or just any kind of, like, summon or magic or slice or whatever that took a longer animation. Kind of realizing now why they, in Sora's playthrough, Strong Initiative was a move. Can you stop, please? I want that experience. Was a map card that really only came out, like, in the later stages, from the early ones. So again, the attack damage only counts for the first wave of enemies, right? But if there's only, like, 1 or 2 people in the first wave, Strong Initiative kind of doesn't do jack diddly shit, does it? I do kind of wish that there was some kind of customization that Riku could put in his stats. I'll admit that. That's kind of neat. Oh man, am I going to be able to break this guy often enough to get to Dark Form? Yeah, I should be able to. He plays low-cost cards. What's his highest? 6 or 7 that he's shown so far? Yeah, the other thing to realize is that you also don't have a cure thing. Which means that when you do get low on health, you have to rely entirely on Mickey. And sometimes the game RNG, you know, screws you over. You may not even get a Mickey, like I haven't so far. Now, if you want to beat this guy with Dark Form without using slights and shit, I definitely recommend the jumping attack, because it hits multiple times. And it'll hit, like, pretty much every section on his body as well. I just want to see that, like, actually stun him. And it turns out it did not. And then when he's like this, just use the double jump technique. Because you get about 2 hits on him every time. So again, like, really Really easy. Like, would Dark Faraja actually kill him at this point? Yeah, it would. Dark Faraja, actually, is kind of a reference to something that can happen in the Kingdom Hearts 1. Like, all of Riku's attacks and sights or whatever are based off his fight. I say his fight. I like to call the fight the Riku Ansem fight. You know, because you fight Riku a couple of times. At the very beginning of the game, he's like an optional fight. You know, but not really. You fight him once, kind of around the entrance of Hollow Bastion. But then when you fight him in like the big like keyhole room or whatever, at that point he's already been like possessed by Ansem. So while it's like Riku's body doing the work, it's kind of like Ansem's darkness and power kind of mixed whatever. I don't know, it's one of those weird things, but I always called it the Riku Ansem fight. Oh no, but he can kill things. Huh. But yeah, so, when you're in that fight, Riku is actually completely immune to all offensive magic towards him. You cast fire towards him, he's immune to it. You cast Blizzard, even something like Stop or Gravity, he's immune. And he acts like he catches it with his hand, pulls it back, and throws it back at you. Which is where, that Dark Faraja actually comes from. So if you never use offensive magic against him, you never see that ability. Yeah, we're only in Traverse Town. You're already asking for the high nines? I literally did not see that enemy in front of the door. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, I just want to see how the stream's doing. Bitrate still says we're doing good and shit. Which is nice. So again, I'm streaming today on an off day of mine. I've kind of come to the realization that my schedule is generally going to be whatever the fuck I want it to be. Like, the time is still the same, I guess. But I want to make sure for sure I'm streaming on the days I'm scheduled. But I kind of just want to be able to, like, stream again normally, because it used to be I'd stream, like, literally every day of the week. But I got worn out really quickly doing that, playing through games that maybe I didn't want to play through all that often or all that much, you know what I mean? But I mean, like, nowadays, I guess I have more energy for it. I know how to keep streams going for longer. But it's, also kind of just the fact that I get really fucking bored sometimes, you know? Like, I mean, really fucking bored. You are half correct. Let's say it's not to answer me. No. Damn, I honestly forgot how much this game kind of actually ties into 2. Like, this wasn't like oh, we make this and then made 2 to, like, kind of relate. It's like, no, they had, like, 2 fully in mind when they made this. So we get to fight vets in here really early. Now, unfortunately, we don't have fire, so we do have to, like, strictly fight by attacking his back. But if you remember, we have a move that is specifically meant to attack enemies' backsides. So because in the Castle Oblivion areas here, we have a bunch of zeros, if we really wanted to, we could just stay here and then reload until we get to a dark form. Which is what I like to do, honestly. And then, jump back attack him, and you'll go over his shield every time. Well, unless he's facing the opposite way regardless. Let's see, can we set up... Oh my god, we have a Dark Aura here, actually. Nice. I definitely want to wait until he, reloads before I try that, though. Can you actually stun him? Yeah, you can actually stun him with the second, hit in the combo. Ooh. Up there. Can you do this? Really hovering on that zero like he wants to play it. And he could have. But he let me use Dark Aura for a bit, so that's nice of him. Do I have any more 9s? Or is it just, Hey, yeah, I do. Sweet. Also, because Dark Aura needs to be specifically, 27, which is the highest you can get, it will literally break any slight. It may not go through, it may tie with a slight. But it'll never, get, like, broken from slights. Honestly, surprised Mickey made it through. Damn it. I'm trying to see if I can get Mickey to break that elixir. It doesn't matter, because he's almost dead. As you see, I've been able to keep Dark Form up for pretty much the entirety of this fight. You just gotta be not super aggressive. Like, you think, like, the way, you fought Riku and Sora's playthrough? That you need to be stupid aggressive to make him work? Honestly, not really. Most of your boss fights will hinge on you being in Dark Form as long as possible. I just want to get those Mickeys out of my deck. So see, now we're out of Dark Form, but now we can just kind of hang back and wait for him to play cards again. I say that, but you know, then he wants to reload and not play cards. Now, Dark Form does more damage than Riku does normally, but I don't think it's by all that much, actually. So it's not to say that you can't fight bosses, but because they card break you and you want to, like, get your attacks in, definitely, like, more than they do. The second slash stunning people, making a guaranteed, like, the final hit in the combo hit. The final hit in the combo land. That's the sentence I want to say, yeah. Because it, like, guarantees that happening. Did I get 2 level ups in one fight? I did. Wow. and then just fucks off. I don't think we actually ever see him again in the Riku playthrough. Because remember, in Sora's playthrough, Riku's playthrough takes place a little bit after Sora's playthrough starts. So, like, Sora hasn't fought Vetsin yet at all, I think, actually. He hasn't come across the Riku clone either, because Vetsin is making the Riku clone right now, based on, the data we just fought on him. Let's go Vagabond first. So let's see what our deck is this time around. Sometimes it feels like it's really kind of haphazardly thrown in. Like, there's a bit of a pattern here. 7, 6, 4, 3, 7, 6, 4, 3. And that's all it is, just 7, 6, 4, 3 repeating. Then we got Fat Bandit. Oh. Increased damage when hitting enemies from behind. Again, with Dark Form, made stupid easy. But we still have Dragon Maleficent, which is still, essentially our best card. Our best enemy card. I may want to go into dark mode just to get rid of the fucking Fat Bandit himself, actually. So, like, he still guards attack from the front when you're in dark form, but he doesn't, like, make you recoil and, like, block the attack fully himself. So normally when you hit him, you bounce off him. But in dark mode, dark form, you just continue through. He doesn't take any damage, but he doesn't stop you from attacking. Which, that's the real important thing, because there are a lot of times where he'll... Man, they really want me to go into dark form here, don't they? His girth will protect his teammates, essentially. There we go. So yeah, even though the move is called Dark Faraja, and you would think that means that it's fire elemental, it is actually very much not fire elemental. It's a neutral kind of element. So fire enemies, enemies that essentially absorb fire, any kind of magic, will still get hurt by that. So even though we won't see them again until this game, Riku's version of Castle Oblivion, but I think it's still just also called Castle Oblivion. We won't see the, like the wizards or the guardians or shit like that until that area again. Ow. Hey, Mickey, you got a heal for me? Thanks, bud. Do you guys ever get that feeling where you wake up in the morning, you don't know if it was anything you did the day before, or whatever it is, but just feel like there's like a muscle strained in your body, like you try to pitch up something, like, oh, I'm gonna make like a bowl of cereal or something, and you pitch up the gallon of milk, and it's like, holy shit, why is this milk hurting my arm so much? I had that feeling today. In my right arm, and I don't know why. I didn't really lift anything yesterday, but it's just like trying to lift it now, or even like stretch the arm a whole lot, makes like part in the middle just like feel really sore. We'll do it that's how you want then. From the back. We. Now I know I probably should. I probably really should be upgrading health. But some of the later boss fights are going to be really, really hard. And yeah, it's not even boss fights from like these worlds generally. It's like the fights you'll have in between worlds and like the Castle Oblivion stages. So there's going to be a boss fight in between every world from here to the end, I think. I'm probably wrong on that, but I remember you fight quite a few bosses because Riku will also fight the Riku clone. Oh, 1 second. Sorry about that. That's also still one of the more annoying parts, because fighting Riku is just generally annoying. But then when you don't have the ability to constantly heal yourself, even more annoying. I'd like that experience, please. Thank you very much. I don't know if it does more damage to use, like, 3 Mickeys back-to-back or to stack them up. Like, honestly. I know stacking more Mickeys together will make, Hello, Dark Mode. Goodbye, Dark Mode. Will make you heal more. And I think maybe stun the enemies for, like, a second longer. Not entirely sure. But damage-wise, like, I know it does more damage, but Mickey does so little damage regardless. Like, he is mainly there for your heal, which is why he takes a little bit to come in. Like, this Back Bandit, who hasn't been hurt. How much is 3 Mickeys going to do to him? Like, honestly, that's like 4 points of damage. So yeah, it's essentially how much health you heal, and like, maybe how long they get stunned. Hello, Dark Form. And goodbye, Dark Form. Again, yeah, in early worlds like this, even kind of just like normal battles, actually, Riku doesn't go into Dark Form that often. Now, if you think you can end the fights early by spamming Dark Form slights, you can just wait for enemies to attack. And, like, force yourself into Dark Form, especially if your deck has, like, zeros and the like. Like, enemy attacks, you just hit with a 0, card break with 0, card break with 0. Oh, look, now I'm in Dark Form. And then you spam Dark Break, or whatever it's called. I forget if it's Breaker or Break. I think it's just Break. You know, the sky stabby move that he does. From, like, what is it? As long as it's like 5 to 15 or 10 to 15, I think. I probably need to actually start remembering. So, like, if 16 and above makes Dark Farada. So I'm guessing it's like 5 or 10 to 15 makes Dark Break. But even then, Dark Farada is still a really good sight to use on bosses. It does good, decent amount of damage, actually. And it comes out really quickly, too. It's just a straight whop, poof, and then the projectile is also very fast. So if enemies are likely to counter it, they'll either counter it the immediate second you play it, as if they were waiting for you to play something like that, or they'll counter it, like, right at the ass end. There's generally no in between. Let me guess. Hello, Dark Mode? Yep. Hello, Dark Mode. Goodbye, Dark Mode. Oh, you lasted for more than 3 turns. Nice. Is that nice or bad on my part that I wasn't able to kill them? This is the kind of entrance you want when you use strong initiative. It does kind of suck that, like, the strong initiative maps and the lasting days really do nothing for you if you don't get the first strike on an enemy out in the field. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I'm very tired still. I mean, I say very tired, but, you know. My sleep has been, like, all over the place lately. Let's see. Yeah, let's just put him to sleep. So are any of you guys worried about the storm that's apparently coming up? Because I want to say, like, what they say, it was going to hit, like, 19 states or something? Like, that's honestly kind of a lot. It's probably a lot of the northern states, I'd imagine. So places like probably New York, from, like, Michigan, maybe, I think? But, like, I'm one of those people who, like, I don't think down plays the right games. But when it comes to, like, this is going to be a really big storm, or this is going to happen, generally I think that's, like, the news and shit, like, hyping up what's, like, going on. Essentially, to, like, you know, make sure people continuously watch news. Like, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be bad, for sure. But, like, my mom's going out of her mind, going like, we have to prep for this and that because we may not have electricity for a month. And I'm like, if there's going to be a storm so catastrophically bad that any part of the U.S. would be without electricity for a month straight, then that is a storm that would cripple the entire fucking world. And no, we're not gonna be without electricity for a month straight, I'm pretty sure. She's even saying, like, oh, okay, what about a week then? Again, like, maybe, but you'd have to be in a very, probably rural, you have to be, like, out in the boonies for that to happen, essentially. Did we get a level up? We did not. How close are we to leveling up, actually? 400 points, so one battle, essentially. This is a very sleepy part of Africa. I wonder if there's a way to make your tards, the map tards that is, kind of like canonically resemble the area that you're in. Because like Agrabah, in like the Aladdin movies, and in at least the first Kingdom Hearts game, which this is based off of, was a lot of alleyways. So like tards like a stagnant space that makes Heartless move slower in the overworld. That's like, just essentially one giant alleyway. Something like this, which is also kind of like a small alleyway. Like, there's not a whole lot of verticality to Agrabah, other than, like, rooftops specifically. Did I not level up from that fight? I'm gonna level up from this one then, I guess. Or am I? I'm thinking of, like, Sora's kind of experience levels from the end of Sora's playthrough. Because we had like 4,000 experience total. We needed 400 to level up. That's literally 10% of all the accumulated experience we've gotten. Like, yeah, we can get that in one battle. Not even going to get it here. Does this style give us 25 experience? Yeah. So literally one more battle. Like 2 more Heartless. Maybe 3 more if they're all, like little shadows. I'm actually wondering, because again, we fight Jafar in this game by fighting Iago, right? Not Jafar himself. I'm wondering if Jafar, or Iago, actually has a backside. Like, obviously, like, he flies, but we're attacking the lamp, more or less, directly, not Iago. So I'm wondering if, like, the Fat Banditard will even be of use in this boss fight. But I'm sure it will, but, like, at the same time, maybe not. So Riku also just jumps a lot higher than Sora naturally as well. So Riku's gonna have no problem reaching the far. I don't even think I need Dark Mode for this fight. Okay, maybe in a situation like this. But that's more because I just really needed Mickey. And you can't, There is a Mickey tar for this fight. I wasn't lying. I thought I was so crazy for saying there was one of these. But yeah, it makes just all 3 platforms high up, and Jafar kind of like fucks off for a second. That's so much easier. Then again, I'm pretty sure Jafar is much less aggro. Does he even have like the boulder throwing move, the meteor throwing move in Riku's fight? I want to say he doesn't actually. I don't want to use my teeny darkness I actually want to save those for later. For if and when, if I need to, actually level drop. Because you get so many Heartless from the Teeming Darkness. Sorry, I can tell that it's getting, like, colder. Because whenever it goes from, like, decently temperature, because it was actually kind of nice out today, aside from, the massive amount of rain. But when it goes from being like, oh, it's nice out here, to, like, really cold the next day, I get, like, really, like, runny sinuses and shit like that. And it's also incredibly fucking dry. Ugh. So those two organizers organizers are called Lexius, the big guy, and Zetzion. That's like an X, so he has two X's in his name. Which doesn't make him sound confusing at all. Whereas Captain Hook don't give us problems. Which is why I saved him for last. Because the answer might be maybe. This deck is really kind of stupid and gimmicky. Where it goes from 9 down to like 1 and 0. And then goes back to that. So you have 1-0 in your deck. Surrounded by 2 1s and a bunch of lower cost cards. So if there's ever a world to remember that you have, like, enemy cards. Oh. Well, I mean, that's going to be really useful for, Dark Form. Not much useful for anything else. Will reloading in Dark Form count as a reload and cancel out this, ability? That it does. But we also have Jafar now as well, which might actually be better for us in this world than, I don't know. Which might actually be better for us in this world than, Maleficent, actually. Because enemies cannot break your attacking card when you're using Jafar, and that lasts for 30 attacks, I think it is, or whatever. And because Riku attacks so quickly, they'll never get a chance to counterattack in between his hits. So I think that's the way to go here, actually. Yeah, I can just power through all of my low-cost cards. And then just power through them. I know I'm like 1 level away from 30 dark points. But I kind of really need the health. And I'm just taking the attack because, attack is always good. I thought I was still desperate for health, but no, I literally just got a level. On 8, the best part again is that you're not limited to like 1 enemy card per fight. So you did that, now we can just power through the rest of the enemies fetch their power from fucking Maleficent. See, this is what I love. Like, this is kind of like more of a challenge dead type thing. But it's just, I don't know. So I like characters and playstyles that are kind of like Riku's, where like they're really strong and fast. I guess just overpowered is the word I'm looking for. I don't know, like, just like compare him to Sora, right? You get the stronger, more agile. I think it's also kind of like that as well in Dream Drop Distance. Because you switch between playing as Sora and Riku in that. Oh my god, really? I kind of liked and also really didn't like that mechanic. Because you essentially played the same worlds pretty much twice over. And there wasn't a manual way to switch between Sora and Riku, right? It just happened on a timer, so if you're like fighting like a boss or like a bunch of enemies in a room or something, and like, oh, time's up, whoop, you're switching to the other character now. I don't know. There was that, and then there was the movement-based mechanics in that game. So what happened in that game is that you had like the ability to like dodge roll and dash back again. I think there weren't really like reaction commands, but it was something like, you know, if you jumped on a railing, you would like grind down it like Sonic Adventure style, Sonic Adventure 2 style. They called it like a quick move mechanic because you could like jump onto a wall and like push yourself off the wall, and if you jumped onto like a phone, like a lamp or a pole, like a lamp pole or a giant telephone pole or something, just like a rod sitting on the ground, you would swing around it to do damage. You would jump to do more damage, make like vortexes to suck enemies into with them. Like, I really liked that. It was using the environment to your advantage. Yeah, like a more structured use of the environment? That's not the right word, I'm pretty sure. But you know what I'm trying to talk about. It makes paying attention to your surroundings in the battlefield you're in, plus the battlefield you're in itself, more, fun. Like, I know there are a lot of people who, I don't know what it is, but like, for a time, it was a thing in, some first-person shooters as well, at the time. Like, Call of Duty, like, Advanced Warfare thing it was, had, like, you know, the advanced futuristic movement where you could, like, run on walls, or, like, you had double jumps and shit like that, or whatever. And then there was Quake Champions, which was also a movement shooter type deal. But I'm talking games that weren't necessarily, like, you know, shooters. Something that was like, you know, an action RPG. Or just like, you know, how it went. I think it's Riku's turn. Does he not have There it is. I knew he had other effect lines. Other lines for his finishers, other than just my turn. There's the come on, I'm pretty sure there's a yell, but I think that yell is just in dark mode. When he's in dark form. You know, if they ever make another Kingdom Hearts game, which I'm sure they will. But I mean, like, yeah, if they ever make another Kingdom Hearts game, and they have, like, someone like Riku, yeah, like, Riku specifically as, like, the main playable character, which really would be kind of like the next logical step, unless they want to go for, like, a full, not reboot of the series, but, like, you know, 20 years in the future since the last events of Kingdom Hearts 3 or whatever. The game is living peacefully until this happens, whatever, and a new band of Keyblade will blah blah blah, you know what I'm fucking saying. Other than that, if they make another game, and they make Riku the main playable character, but they're not, they're gonna find some way to fucking bring, so it's Kingdom Hearts 3, god damn it. If Riku the new character, or not a new, the main character, and Kingdom Hearts 4, whatever the next, whatever game that comes out is, I really hope they find a way to bring back his, dark outfit. But make it, like, more neutral-based. Because the outfit he has in dark form, which we'll see next time, which is that, you know, kind of like weird vape. Like, it's really hard to describe, but it looks really fucking cool. I was like, let's see, there's like the veiny part of the upper chest, which looks almost kind of like skin. Like, what's his name? Armstrong from that one, like, really fucking crazy Metal Gear Solid game. You know, the nanomachines guy. When he has, like, the nanomachines on his, like, skin. Kinda looks like a weirder version of that. And that looks kind of just really badass, actually. He wears kind of like, a kilt is the best way I can describe it. The little, like, white flowy stuff around his waist. But the reason I say make it look a bit more neutral is because, like, as a suit for, like, a dark user, like, a user of darkness, of any kind of, like, stretch of the imagination, right? Really fucking good. Really fucking whatever. But it has the heartless symbol on his chest, even in this game. Hey, Karma, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by just for a sec, even. Because you're tired? Yeah. Are you one of those people that's supposedly about to be affected by, the massive snowstorm that's happening, like, tomorrow, or tonight, or in a few hours, or whatever? Okay, we actually got into dark form, so we can kind of look at it. But yeah, like, I don't know, would you call that a kilt? What's around his waist? It's kind of not really, because it has the open area. Or it has, like, his front area, where all of his, like, you know, his jump would be. Is, like, wide open, so I don't think it's a kilt. Or, like, I don't know what it is, but I just fucking like the look of it, okay? Like, this is too good of a design to leave in the past. Like, we need a reason to make Riku wear that suit again. It's just so fucking badass. Oh, we actually had a little snow today. We've just had it raining massively here all day. Like, literally non-stop pouring. I don't think it's been really, like, bad, but it's just like non-stop. There's consistently been rain. But hey, on the good news though, that means if you leave your window open for a bit, you're guaranteed to get cold pillows. Which is what I'm going to be doing. Don't tell anyone else who lives there, though. I'll check them out later, yeah. If I don't have anything else to do. I've been needing some good background noise till I got that Pokemon Arceus game a few days ago. And it's really good, but games like that, it's hard to just play them, like, full attention-wise, you know what I mean? Like, I need to be watching, like, a YouTube video or something in the background, or there, like, be a movie playing on the screen or something or whatever. Like, I need to multitask, or else it just doesn't really work for me. Not to say the game's bad, it's just the way I do things, you know? Yeah, sim noise. That kind of makes sense. You have no idea how much having a free Jafar in this deck and, like, the entirety for the rest of this playthrough is going to make so many random battles and some boss fights just way fucking easier. Way fucking easier. The ability to just straight up berserk plow through 20 cards, an entire deck worth at this point, just consistently spamming with how fast Riku is, and no enemies having any chance for counterplay. Really powerful. But yeah, this is one of the least fun decks that Riku has, I think. Solely because it, like, goes down to 3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Like, that's so many cards in a row that if you're just playing them, it's gonna be bad. Alright, have a good night, Tarma. Thanks for stopping in. Hope you get some good sleep. Like, these guys specifically, they'd be really fucking annoying. They hurt a lot. But we don't have to worry about that. We can just literally berserk our way through them. Oh, I hope it is too. You have a good night. I'll see you later, probably. If we don't all die to the frozen apocalypse that's coming out tomorrow. What I miss, you can? Gotta wake up at 7 again to 5 hours of sleep. Oh, that's, like, really bad. I can work on not a whole lot of hours of sleep, but I need at least 6 if I'm gonna make the night work for me, you know? Just literally spamming through cards I know are gonna get blocked just so I can get to the gooder ones. I tried to say good, but then tried to say better. Maybe one more level before we fight Hook, just because I'm scared of Hook. Also, again, I'd like to point out how much damage our basic attacks are doing now, because we're consistently leveling up attack power whenever we get it. Again, Jafar, saving our ass. You'd almost think I planned for something like this. To go to Agrabah before I went to this area. But I didn't. That was just a really happy coincidence. I wanted Maleficent, but I forgot that the all-zero pirate was up first. Because these like sky pirates aren't really that aggressive. So I just want to get rid of them with Maleficent first before we get down to these assholes. But we got through them all the same. But yeah, we're able to one combo. Like, kill shadows with just one combo. So that's still really powerful. It takes like 2 full combos to kill most anything else, which is still really powerful. Thank you. Since we were getting about 300 experience per fight. And I want some healing. I don't know we're going to get a level up soon, but not having a consistent heal is still kind of really scary. Yeah, that's kind of a good question to think about. How often do you enjoy characters that are, I don't want to say risk-reward, but their deal is that like they excel in pretty much most situations. They are pretty fast. Like, we're talking, like, just traditional, like, stat-based RPGs or whatever. Or even action RPGs. They're generally really fast characters. They're pretty good attack-wise as well. But the big downside is that they have not a lot of health and or not a lot of ways to heal themselves. Like, a character I kind of like that falls under that is, if people ever played the Binding of Isaac game. Which one was it? Rebirth? Afterbirth? I think it was just Rebirth at first. Because there was the original Binding of Isaac. And then came the remake, which was Rebirth, right? Yeah. So in that game, they added a couple new not base characters, just like new characters to the game. And one of them was Azazel, who I really fucking loved. I loved playing as him. His whole gimmick that he had, like, I think like 1 heart container base, but he had 3 hearts and 2 of them were black hearts, which essentially meant that they were temporary health. Once they were gone, you had no way to replenish them other than just by collecting more. Right? You couldn't just find like health pickups and get healed through those. But the way he started with one, he was winged, so that meant that he could fly over spike traps and like boulders and stuff and canyons, chasms or whatever. So essentially nothing like obscured his path underground. He could fly over basically everything. But the way he attacked was that he had a miniature version of Brimstone. So normally in Isaac, when you fight, it's like a twin-stick shooter. You attack by shooting your tears at enemies. Trust me, it's a Really weird game, but yeah, tear throwing. Brimstone is an upgrade where you have to charge up an attack and then you spit out like a giant laser of blood that goes across the entire screen. Azazel starts with a very short ranged version of that, so you still have to charge it up, and it only goes like so far, like pretty short ranged actually, like really short ranged. But Brimstone, being, Brimstone, does a lot of damage very quickly. But again, he starts off with really low health and no way to like really You wanna fuck off with that? Very kindly? What am I doing, Jafar? Jesus Christ. What? Why are you in the dark mode? I needed Mickey to heal. I really needed Mickey to heal there. I think I just kind of gotta berserk my way through the rest of this and hope. You have all zeros? What the fuck? Let's say no to that. Thank you very much. Thank you. I really needed to get that through. Then Hook is also a very good card to have, because then he gives you second chance. So, like, he essentially blocks you from dying for 3 hits. You'll be at, like, 1 health for about 3 hits, and then his card will go away. So, we will get it later, but we can get Vetson's card as well, which gives you auto life, which, when you die, restore, like, half your health or something. A good amount of health. I'm pretty sure it's a fixed amount. Yeah, so having both of those is pretty good, pretty good defensive measures. Daily reminder, you can still use Slice just to play basic normal attack cards. Without the need for, making them Slice, just so you can actually get some attacks in. If you have a lot of low numbers. Nope, not what I wanted. And we'll show Darn on it. It says it has a wide attack, but it means it has longer attack, I think, actually. So, like, instead of your attacks going more vertically up and down, they just actually extend, like, forward longer, I think. It might be, a little bit longer up and down, actually. I'm not seeing a whole lot of the, horizontal reach. But that's also because, again, Riku has some really good range. Like, that stab he does, like, oh man, that's pretty good, actually. still kind of confused why I went into dark mode instead of playing my slide. I didn't break anything by playing that slide, I don't think. I think I was at 30 dark points from being damaged. And when you get the 30 dark points from being damaged, you still need to play a card. Because that card then essentially kind of secretly transforms into a turn into dark mode card. Which is why you can be broken out of like your transformation into dark mode, but it doesn't like stop you from transforming. You just don't do the whole like, flip and yell. You'll still always, very much always transform though. Unless you had like 8 dark points or something, and you played like a 0 to go into dark mode, and then you played a 9, the card break you immediately out of dark mode. But that's something that would like literally only happen at like the very beginning of the game. Okay, how about no? I just played Almighty Darkness, so I don't plan on staying in here long. Really don't, because this is a really bad deck. Don't like this place, so farewell. But still, yeah, just fucking look at that outfit. It's so goddamn good. Are you afraid of the dark? So that's like now like that represents like an old like TV series from Nickelodeon, I think, was it? It was essentially kind of like supposed to be an actual more spooky version of like the Goosebumps TV show. And like they've been making kind of like a new series of that where like I swear I've seen like 2 different versions of it. One was like a 3-episode series, and another had like 8 episodes, I think, and it was all like one kind of just really long story. 777 Then a bunch of zeros. Ow. So this can also get really confusing, really quick. You go into dark mode as well, and there's just like 2 Rikus. And again, I'm just trying to get into dark mode as soon as possible. To show him who's the better Riku with being dark mode. That is not what. Just literally combo him to death almost. Jafar's so fucking good. Play him. No, you want to. There you go. You bitch. Bop, bop. Look at that damage. It's so fucking good. 9 times out of 10, you'll never hit anyone with the thunder at the end if it ever reached that long. But kind of like Omni Slash, as long as you get like 1 or 2 hits in, that's still a really good amount of damage. Still a really fucking good amount of damage. And that stacks with each point of attack we put into ourselves. Shut up, I'll never use the power of darkness. Meanwhile, me playing as him. Yeah, the best way to fight bosses is to just go into dark form and stay in dark form as long as possible. So again, the organizers can just like teleport, because that's what they do. But like, how does the Riku clone go from floor to floor so quickly? Like, because he doesn't have memory cards to deal with. Are the doors beyond those little stairways just literally just like step and then like, stairway? I don't have to go through. He doesn't have to go through a fake world. Again, it kind of doesn't make sense that they're having like this entire thing be like, they kind of like pointed out in Kingdom Hearts 2, but they desperately try to make it seem here that the power of the darkness is something that's, awful and evil and that absolutely no one should ever have. Blah, 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 blah. But then again, it's like they give you like, oh, by the way, if you do this, you get into a super awesome dark form, does a shit more damage. Oh, do I get like a bad ending if I do that? No, you want to stay in it as much as possible. What's that word? It's really fancy. Lunonarrative dissonance, I think it is. Where like the game tells you that it's like highly immoral to do something like this or that or whatever, but then like the gameplay, the story of the game tells you, no, you shouldn't do this, but the gameplay pushes you really hard to do that, and there's no like downside at all to it. Yeah, so something like that, something weird like that. Yeah. Yeah, there's that sore muscle. Oh fuck, that actually really hurts. I was trying to adjust my fat slab. Not that heavy, especially not from the waist up. Okay, I am, but like, you know, fuck. That really hurt. Okay. I honestly forget which are better areas to jump through. Let's see. Udi is a really good card to have. Just a regen. It lasts for a set amount of time, I think, not like a reload or anything. Or if it does last until a reload, that just means that if you really wanted to and you're good, like, dodging and avoiding attacks, you could just do that until your health fully recharges. Let's see. The like trickster or whatever, you devalue an enemy card whenever you break it, which is actually pretty good for Riku because you're always going to have them, and you want to break cards constantly again. The dark forms. That means the cards you break are also just going to have a lot more, you know. Whatever. It lasts for I think 4 or 5 card breaks specifically. I think. Let's see. Hades is berserk. So like when your health is like in the red flashing, you gain like double the attack power or something. I don't like it. You have to be way too close to death. Possibly a lot more useful on swords as you could have like a Kirada stacked up, and then like, oh no, I need to heal. Okay, play that, and then like just switch over to your other heals. So that happens. Ursula is you just take half damage from enemy magic attacks, right? Which actually in Riku's story isn't really all that impressive because most of the enemies you'll fight use physical attacks actually. Like the only enemy that uses a lot of magic attacks generally is what's his name? Letsius. Not Letsius, no, Vetson. No, Letsius doesn't use any magic attacks at all. He's a pure physical brute. Also, what is this? White float? Oh, that's right, you like jump really, really fucking high. But we don't have really shit debt this time, so we can focus more on Maleficent to in fights pretty quickly. But yeah, back to character settings. Like yeah, people like kind of like Riku in this game, and like Azazel. Was it Azriel or Azazel? I think it was Azazel in Isaac. I kind of really do like characters like that who are like very, again, very powerful and very fast moving, but have like low health and low ways of healing themselves. Not exactly like a brute or an assassin like a rogue. No, not like that specifically. More like, I don't know, it's really hard to tell. Riku's kind of a really unique character in that regard. Because the only other character I can think is kind of similar to how what I'm thinking of is Freed, the Psycho character from Borderlands 2. So in that game, Freed has the lowest base health out of every character in the game. Like he starts off at 70, I believe, actually. Whereas like every other Vault Hunter character starts off at least 90 or 100, I think. But again, base health really isn't that important because shields are more important in that game than health generally. But yeah, so he's the Psycho character, which means he has a lot better melee scaling in his kit. So it's like just base normal melee attack works. But again, I say he's kind of like Riku, because again, he's more of a full-on risk-reward type character. Because his ability in that game, like his active ability, is like, other characters have things like, there's a Commando, who are kind of like, red mages, jacks of all trades, master of none. they have a turret they throw. It's like, oh, it's just like, a miniature turret that does damage automatically. You have the Gunzerter in that game, who like Albi and what is it, Gunfire Reborn, just dual wields, two weapons. Shit like that. What Krieg does is that he goes into a full melee mode where he kind of like goes crazy. His attack power increases by like literally, I think they say 400 or 500%. That's a literal 5 or 6 times increase to your melee attacks. And if you kill someone in that, you immediately heal all your health. Not like a really fast gradual refill, but just immediately 100% full. So again, I did that because you're running up to people who are using, things like shotguns, grenade launchers, and whatever to attack you. You're literally bringing essentially like a really oversized knife to a gunfight. So again, that's kind of like what goes on here with Riku, but again, not entirely like that. I also kind of just in general like characters that are very fast attack. So not so much in like their movement speed being really massive, but like I don't know, trying to say to like Meta Knight from Super Smash Brothers. Give me 1 second, please. I need a drink real quick. Sorry about that. But yeah, think of like Meta Knight from Super Smash Brothers, where like he's not the strongest attacker, and I don't think he's the quickest movement speed wise, but the speed at which his attacks come out, like when you press a button, when you press the attack button, the amount of time between that happening and his attack actually coming out. Because you have like some big boy attackers, like you got like good old Ganondorf in Smash Brothers, right? Where even like his basic singular punch has like a pull back delay before he straight up palms you, or however his just basic attack works. But all of Meta Knight's attacks come out incredibly fucking fast, right? So I like characters that are like that in games. And again, like, sometimes that happens with, like, rogue-type characters. But, yeah, that's... I don't want to say that's generally not how it happens. Because the same with rogue-like characters. Yeah. Characters are like thieves or rogues or however you would call them, whatever. Assassins or whatnot. Based off, like, MOBAs and the like or whatever. They usually have, like, very, very, very weak basic attacks. So it's like, yes, my character is, like, an assassin or whatever. So I use, like, a dagger, or I'm a rogue specifically. So I use a dagger, like, I attack 10 times per second. Yeah, but each hit does 1 damage. Whereas the warrior does 50 damage per swing, and he can swing, like, once per second. So, like, yeah, you attack 10 times faster than the warrior, but the warrior deals, like, 500% more damage than you do. No, at that point, it's like 5,000% more damage than you do. So it's like, who has more DPS in that sense? At that point, the warrior. Like, oh, a good example, kind of. When I played through Dark Souls 1 and 3, for the first times, I used the dexterity-based build. Because dexterity-based weapons are more like, katanas, rapiers, same like knives, yeah. But that's because, like, their attacks came out pretty quickly. And the reason I played those builds, because, like, as I was, trying to play early, like, I was playing, like, yeah, half strength, half dexterity. But I would notice that, enemies would, like, oh, if I hit them and stagger them first, I can, pretty reliably, like, maybe kill them in one combo if I had the stamina for it or something. So while they're nowhere near as fast as Riku or something, it's like, when you think like pure strength-based weapons in, hello? I am out for map cards. Huh. Have I been fighting that many Heartless battles as Riku? Because we never got close to this. We got up, like, I think maybe 70 at most. When we were playing as Sora. And it's not that these worlds are any bigger, I think, than, Sora's worlds. Huh. So we're just not gonna get, map cards for a good while then. Because until, like, I really need to get rid of a bunch, I really don't see why not. Because I have pretty much of everything. Do I have any ones? I have 2 ones. And that's about it. But I have a good amount of everything else. Like 2s, 0s, upwards of 9s and shit like that. So yeah. It's a trick room. So this doesn't lead anywhere. So I gotta go down here to go all the way back up here. Been played like a fool. Do you ever think in Kingdom Hearts 1, when Riku was kind of slumming around with Maleficent, that he ever got, like, properly introduced to the other villains? Because, like, he has some, like, dialogue and interactions with Captain Hook, specifically. But that's because he's on the same ship. They're on the same ship together. I don't know, because we're not having any dialogue, like, straight up. Like, Riku probably knows of these people. He probably saw them hanging around Maleficent's tower, but they probably weren't ever, like, by the water cooler together with, like, Oogie going, "So, you're friends with that Sora boy, are you? You know what he's afraid of?" Like, I don't think that ever... I don't think that ever actually happened. I think it would have been maybe a little bit needed, like, Riku got a little bit of dialogue, like just a very tiny amount with the Disney villains you fight in these worlds. Like, even if there are more things, just like one-liners, But not like a one-liner for the sake of one-liners to make Riku seem cool. Like, don't have him, like, make a one-liner and have him put on, like, fucking sunglasses. Don't have him, like, fucking kill Oogie Boogie and be like, I guess he wasn't down to Boogie with me. Like, no, don't make him that guy. But I think, like, like a line or two of, like, Riku, like, abolishing? Abonishing? Whatever that word is, like, uh, the other villains for, like, their actions or, like, their personalities or something. Just, like, maybe it's a little bit of shade. Oh, that's good shit. Sorry if I drink too much on stream. I'm not a person where, through most of my life, like, I was kind of a real silent person for a good while. Not because, like, any kind of muteness or whatever, it's just, I don't want to be like, I didn't have no friends. I mean, I didn't, but it was more so that, like, when I hung out with people, I didn't really talk so much. And when I did, it was usually just, like, responding to them based on their interests. Like, the reason I want to be streaming, the reason I have been streaming and shit like that is because, you're listening to me. I love nerding out about different concepts and stuff in games. Video games are really kind of like the only big interest I have. Like, I'm not a massive movie buff. And I'm not, there's not, like, a whole lot of TV shows I'm into. I'm not really into, like, a lot of other, like, hobbies or whatever. I fucking hate the news. I'm not into, like, sports or anything like that. And any kind of, like, weird, like, I don't want to make fun of them, but, like, those weird, like, almost stereotypical hobbies you think of that, like, are supposed to be, like, really, like, boring. Like, oh, I collect stamps, or I watch birds, or I just knit for the fun of it, or something. It's like, I don't know anything about that. So I just really never had a lot in common with a lot of people, like, especially kids in school growing up. Never really had, like, the same interests as them, unless they were also interested in video games. That's what I'm trying to say, is that, like, I'm literally not used to talking a lot. Like, I think everyone knows, like, you may not have them as a friend, you may have never met them, but you've heard from someone else of someone who has that friend, who is the person that never shuts the fuck up. Like, maybe they mean it in a good way, or maybe it's just, like, they're really talkative, but you have that one friend that will just, like, gab, and gab, and gab, and gab, and gab, and just sit there, and, like, oh my gosh, and I get, like, 2 words in. Like, everyone at least knows someone like that, either directly or indirectly. And I don't know how the fuck they do it. I really don't. Because if I don't, like, take a drink of water in between, like, 10 minutes of me talking, my throat gets so fucking dry that it acts like it's about to fucking crack on itself. Just trying to say words. Like, if I went an entire stream without taking a drink, I'd be at the end, like, literally no coherent sound would come out of my mouth. So I just kind of need to take drinks every once in a while. I need to gas up my tank, and in this case, the tank being my voice. But I think, like, drinking on stream is, like, far, I'm gonna say less, but I'm gonna say more appropriate than like something like maybe eating on stream. And I'm not saying anyone who eats on stream is like a monster. Like, no, it's like, you know, when you're hungry, you're fucking hungry. But it's like the most I've seen people eat are like very small meals or like snacks essentially throughout a stream, which like, you know, I can get. But the kind of stuff that I snack on are generally like really crunchy foods, like chips and crackers and shit like that. And I don't want like, you know, the mic picking that up. Also, I have a tendency to talk when I have food in my mouth. And I guess people will see that from time to time. I don't know, so I try not to do that on stream. I'll stuff my face full before a stream starts, that's for sure. But during the stream, not so much. But yeah, I don't think drinking is that much of a problem. Again, on stream, I want context with that. I'm not supporting alcoholism. Oh my god, just how powerful fucking Maleficent's card is. With no downside. Like, they had to have known what they were doing, right? It's like, okay, we're gonna make it so that whenever Riku gets a boss card, he keeps it in his deck at all times, right? Make him permanently stronger like that to make up for the fact he doesn't have magic? Yeah, sure. And then, also as well, what if he doesn't need to reload? Well, I mean, like, he needs to reload, but he doesn't need to charge it up. Not even, like, level 1, 2, and 3. Like, he just presses the button and, like, pop, it's always there. Wouldn't that make some cards, like Maleficent, extremely overpowered? You know what? Let's make Maleficent the first boss he fights. So the players will always have an extremely powerful card in their deck at all fucking times. Like, the only way they would have made it, like, I'm not gonna say easier, but kind of like a lot easier, is if, like, all of Riku's attacks did a little bit of lifesteal. Like, every single attack he landed restored, like, 4 health or something, regardless of how much damage he did. That mean, like, when there's, like, 4 Heartless like that I'm hitting, I'd fill up, like, a quarter of my health every time I did a full combo. Like, yeah, I'll be honest. The normal Heartless fights of Riku are a bit brain dead, especially when you have good, decent decks like this, where you can just spam cards. Especially if they're Maleficent cards. But again, I want to, like, honestly kind of just believe that a lot of the, early Riku stuff is, because I do remember later boss fights being really hard, actually. I don't think it's much of a pain as Sora, but again, like, Mickey's your only chance at healing. And if you want to get massive heals, then you gotta, like, you know, stack 2 or 3 Mickeys up. And there's also a chance, like what we've been getting, where a lot of Mickey cards are, like, 1s or 0s. So even if you slide 3 Mickeys together, you might end up with a total of 4. So are all of your first cards going to be a 7 cost? Yeah, there's going to be 7, aren't they? Okay. No dark mode like this, but I'm pretty sure you just also just straight up have a timer on you. Just get that a little bit of health back. I saw a health bar for a second there, and it looked like Oogie's full health bar, but I'm pretty sure I was targeting the dice. Did that mean that the dice have just like a shit ton of health, or was I targeting something really weird for a second there? I'll have to go back and watch the VOD afterwards to see what the hell that was. Because I saw like a full green health bar with a little bit of blue on it. That wasn't Oogie, because I was like, oh damn it. Because I thought at first that was Oogie, but I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I got him down to just the green health bar. Not sure if that was his dice or fucking what happened there. Something else I liked about this game, actually, now we just kind of saw it, ladder climbing is pretty fast. I hate games. I hate games when you're climbing a ladder, they make it really insanely fucking slow to climb ladders. Like, why? Dear God, why? I'm not saying we need to rocket speed up them, but like there are a lot of games where you have to like, get into position, then you climb, 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 climb. And they make these ladders really fucking like tall because your character can't jump really high vertically. It's like, look, if you want to put a lot of ladders because your character is limited in their verticality, sure, go ahead. But then make it so that they can climb kind of decently fast. And then, what's worse, when they don't have a slide down mechanic for ladders. Because you'll notice that a lot of games that do have, like, ladders and shit you can climb, if you climb up them, like, fast or slow, kind of like in Dark Souls, it's like you kind of just, like, slide down the ladder instead of, like, having to walk down it specifically. But no, some games, like, nah, you can't do that. That's a bit too restless. You gotta actually walk down the ladder at the same speed, or possibly even slower than climbing up the ladder. Like, I remember seeing a video years ago, like it might have been 10 years ago. I forget if I actually watched it all the way through, but I just remember it being a video on YouTube. I like saw at least the title of. It was like top 10 fastest ladder climbers in video games. Like specifically about climbing ladder speeds. Like, who is on that, I think? Because, I almost said Morgan Freeman, but no, it's, Gordon. Yeah, that's his name. Gordon Freeman. From, Half-Life. The Half-Life protagonist. In 1 and 2. I think it's less of him than it is just like any character in the Source engine. Climbs ladders really quickly. You can see like Left 4 Dead. You can climb up stuff pretty quickly. Are there like any like ladder climbing spots in TF2? I don't think so. Yeah, actually, it's all just ramps. So if you want to go up vertically, it's just a lot of stairs and ramps. But yeah, but that means like Half-Life, Counter-Strike, ladder climbing is like really quick up and down. Shit, sorry, I was trying to stretch that arm out a bit. Trying to think, like, who else are, like, really fast ladder climbers in games? Because I know they exist. I know there are characters who climb up and down ladders really fast, but I can't put a fucking name to them. I can't even put a silhouette to them. Like, I can imagine, like, the animation they use to climb up ladders if they have some. Really quickly. But not even, like, a silhouette, so I can't tell, like, oh, it's, like, a completely human character. Or, like... And this person has, like, a tail, so they're, like, an anthropomorphic animal. Person or something. I literally can't remember. Pretty sure the Assassin's Creed games have fast ladder climbing, but that's also because, like, you generally climb buildings almost at the same speed, so ladders are kind of like really, you know, child's play at that point, right? What are some of the slowest ladder climbing speeds I've seen in games, actually? Like, I think in the Metal Gear Solid games, ladder climbing's kind of slow, but I think I might be thinking about that solely because of the What a Thrill ladder from Metal Gear Solid 3. For people who have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, Metal Gear Solid 3 had, like, really, like, kind of old school, like, James Bond vibes to it, kind of. Because, like, it started off with, like, a fucking, like, not orchestrated number. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that, but it had, like, its own, like, theme song, like, big band. I think that's kind of what I'm looking for. Because, like, you know, it had, like, the trumpets and everything. And, like, a vocalist singing. And partway through the game, there's this... You know, some games, like, get away from, like, loading zones specifically by having some areas that are kind of just filled with nothing, so that as you take time to traverse them, it loads the other part of the game. When you're, like, in, like, a big corridor or something like that. But the way Metal Gear Solid 3 works, at least how I remember it from what I played of it, is that it doesn't have that. Like, whenever you walk through a doorway, like, a lot of the open areas are kind of big anyway, so it still takes, like, 10 seconds to walk through a door. But so you walk through a door, and there's nothing in there except a giant ladder, and it takes literally 2 minutes to climb this ladder, I think. And as you're climbing it, you hear, like, the vocalist from, the main theme song just starts singing. I think some people, specifically, like, some people, like video game donkeys specifically, whenever they climb a ladder in their game, no matter how long or how fast they climb it, they have the "What a Thrill" line plays. I know a lot of people also say, like, oh yeah, I do that to myself as well, too. Whenever I'm climbing a ladder that takes more than 3 seconds, I just go, what a thrill. So you see, now we're at this point in the story, like, to give us a little, like, insight. Like, yeah, this is where we're at here. Sora to Ritu's memory of their home. Really? Vetson has the Destiny Island card? No, he doesn't. He has the Twilight Town card. Yeah. Yeah, he gets... Where does he get Destiny Island from? He gets Destiny Island because after he beats Vetson in Twilight Town, and then Axel kills him, the next floor, he fights the Riku clone, and the Riku clone drops, like, his, like, nominate charm or whatever, and that turns into Destiny Island. But when Sora beats Vetson, he runs away and like, here, take this. It's a place from the other side of your memories or something, and that's Twilight Town. So that's just further evidence supporting my theory that Sora is originally from Twilight Town, before he found his way to Destiny Islands. It won't hurt much. So yeah, that's also explaining how the fake Riku doesn't know he's a fake until, like, we tell him, or we figure it out. Like, however so often with everyone. So let's see, what time is it? How have we been going? Yeah, I think it's a good enough time. I think we're going to stop here for today. We've gotten through quite a lot of the floors, haven't we? Actually, how many floors have we got left? Yeah, 7, 6, 5, 4, and then we have what are the last two? I said 7, 6, 5, 4, and then 3, 2, 1, or 3 and 2. No, it's basement. So basement 1 would just be like floor -1, not base floor. Basement 0 would be ground floor? Yeah? Yeah, that's how that works. So that means that there'd be, I don't think Ritu actually visits Twilight Town in his story. Like, there's not a reason for him to ever go there. Especially because their card's based off of memory. Again, Riku would have never been to Twilight Town, I don't think. So we've got, not Hollow Bastion, we got, Destiny Islands, and then, a Castle Oblivion floor. What's the third floor? I'm not sure. Well, we'll probably find out next time. If I'm able to stream tomorrow, I'm not entirely sure it's going to happen, because again, big ice storm supposedly heading this way. So, I don't know if, like, people will even be around to, like, watch a stream, if, like, they do have no power, if I'll have power or not. But we'll just see how it plays out, so thanks everybody for watching. I hope you all have a good night, and I'll see you on the next stream. So, goodbye. I'll see you all then. Goodbye for now. See you later.